Hi, everyone, and welcome to Terry Messenger's Genius Zone. And I've got a really spectacular lineup for you today. We are not bringing a person onto the red carpet today. It will be myself sharing from inside the container of the Royalty Elite Crown Coaching. So, what I had really discovered as possibly the biggest breakthrough of my life is that if you are going to be successful in any business, it doesn't matter whether you are a coach, healer, leader, or a tradesperson, or a community operator, or even a hairdresser, teacher, counselor, psychologist, whatever industry you are in, if you want epic success, there are two main strategies that you're going to have to endorse. Number one is the masculine alpha element of your brain. Now, your masculine energy works from that level where it's the doing part. It's the part that wants to hustle. It's the part that's really in that activity of things that you do in your day-to-day activity. And then, of course, there's the feminine energy, and the feminine is about the flow. It's about the presence. It's about the ease, and it's about the grace. And let me tell you, there are a lot of very alpha men that do the feminine flow very well. My own husband, Dr. Ian Messenger, you only have to look at him, hear him, and see him to know that he would be the least feminine person on the planet. But the way he operates is very much in his feminine flow. Now, he also has a really profound habit of calling in miracle money. What do I mean by miracle money? Miracle money is where it just seems to come out of nowhere. I remember when he was wanting to get married, and I was finding every excuse to put it off, and he was finding every excuse to make it happen sooner than later. And when he said that he wanted to marry me in the same year that he proposed, I said, no, that's impossible. It cannot happen. And then he asked me to go through absolutely every reason why it couldn't happen. And in my human, thriving, thrusting, and I guess masculine hustling part of me, I possibly couldn't have pulled it off the way he could. But when he got me to kind of move into my spiritual flow, allow the universe to know exactly what the plans are. And obviously his vision was a lot stronger than mine, because as it turned out, he won. He ended up getting married sooner than later. He also proved to me that he could overcome every obstacle that was in the way. One of them being money, and of course the other being time. And wouldn't you agree, guys, that time and money is really the bottom line for most of the problems that we experience today? So let's go a little bit deeper. When you have the flow of both the masculine energy where you're activating and the flow of the feminine where you are in presence, you are in your spirituality, when those two elements come together, you've got this beautiful dance of life. Now, what do I mean by the dance of life? Well, what I mean is that you've got strategy, activation, and you've got spirituality and presence, flow that comes with faith. Now, the feminine side is really where we get the multi-dimensional element from, because in that multi-dimensional level, you've got to be in a certain state inside your mind. And this brings me to telling you that there's going to be a meditation at the end of this transmission. There's also going to be an element of where I'm going to share with you a download in the life of my community in Voxer. So I'm going to be sharing that download where I'm speaking into the lives of my community. I'm giving them real-time coaching. And what we're covering is some of the most important elements of succeeding in the online space as a coach, healer, and leader. And as we really go into that element of some of the things that a lot of people are actually going through online, but they're not telling you, the silent desperation. Nobody admits to that, because if everybody showed up and told you how desperate they were for the sale, then who's going to buy from them, right? And then, of course, it's all about the journey to success. And that comes with what I was just talking about, the strategy of the masculine and the activation, and of course, the beautiful spiritual flow of the multi-dimensional feminine, where you move in flow, ease, and grace. And really, it is about 80% energy and just 20% strategy. So what could be some of the biggest elements that is actually holding back people in their, plight for success? Well, it really comes down to one thing, and that is people that are in fear of making mistakes, people who are in fear of rejection, people who think they have to have everything perfect before they show up, and they spend most of their life looking for how they need to do everything rather than why they are doing it. Now, when you are thinking of how you're going to make the greatest vision you've ever dreamed of happening, that's going to kind of constrict you, and it's going to, I guess, really make that feel so hard that there's going to be a part of you that goes, you know what, let's just give this up. Let's give it up for a bad joke. So you've got to be really prepared to follow your own North Star. Yes, you do need a template so that you have a system, because systems and rituals and the elements that are going to help you go from A to Z are definitely designed to keep you on track. But everything else is really up to the divine, authentic, inner, real, true sincerity of yourself. So if you are trying to be like everybody else, it will show, and you'll just be a copy. Do you really want to be a copy, or do you want to be the real deal? So, this transmission today is not only going to give you this beautiful, juicy meditation at the end that is going to help you to really tap into the year ahead that is going to expand into your highest power. We're going to also share with you the transmission that I bring in my day-to-day container of Voxer, so you can hear it firsthand and just get a taste of how powerful it is. But right now, I want to just move through some practicalities of success, of making money, and of really having a service that is going to call in your dream clients. So I would like to start off by really saying, welcome to the Royalty Elite Crown. And this is the place and the space where I'm going to take you on a journey right now into imagining that we are going to build your empire. Okay, now firstly what I want you to do is I don't want you to start envisioning every step of the way from start to finish, what I want to do is I want you to think about 12 months from now, and I want you to imagine that you've created an empire of your success, of your deluxe life from the ground up. Now, I'm going to reverse engineer you back, because what has happened in this element of building your empire is you've created the services that you have, that you may have been putting out there online and making things so damn confusing. Like, have you ever come across, that element where people are so generalized, they'll roll up and say, "Hi, I'm a confidence coach." Or, "Hey, I am the empowerment healer." Okay, so what? So are a billion other people on this planet. Now, even if you're listening to this from the viewpoint of your own success in another field, this is going to help you tremendously, because you're going to be able to take the gold from the, what I'm talking about in the online space, and you're going to be able to apply it to your own life. So when you are looking at really delivering a service, by being crystal clear about your avatar, knowing who it is that you're speaking to. Now, this was one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I came from bricks and mortar, where I was training people, certifying people, running events, running retreats, doing all the things right, you guys, and then thinking to myself, this business of going online, I can't wait. I'm going to wear my pajamas. I'm going to show up. I'm going to wear a fancy, spancy top, and no one's even going to know that I've got slippers on my feet. And I'm going to be able to show up any time of the day. This is going to be a total walk in the park. Wow, what a slap in the face I was in for. Because the universe had other plans. It wanted to humble me. It wanted to say, "Terry, you better get real, girl, because this is not about rainbows and butterflies." In fact, being a clinical hypnotherapist and a practitioner and a trainer and a transformation queen was easy when people came to see me, because the experience was profound. I would be able to help them with whatever it was, whether it was a drug addiction, a sex addiction, whether it was something around their body, their weight, whether they needed to shred so they could get down into their ideal body. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what the sabotaging pattern was, but that's the reason people came. People came because they were blocked. But that's when it hit me, that when I came online, it wasn't good enough for me to say, "Oh, I'm going to help you, with your stress. I'm going to help you with that trauma." So what? So is a billion other coaches. It was more about who I was talking to. And when I discovered that who I was talking to was not specifically a genre of people like teachers, psychologists. I mean, there was a pattern that people in leadership, people that were teachers and psychologists, did come into my training. But even if they had a drug addiction, or even if they seemed like they were blocked by some of the greatest trauma, underneath all that shiz laid an iconic superhero. Now, could that be you? Could you be ready to understand that every single challenge you've ever been through is simply not because you have to stay in some victimization pity party, right? It's because you have something greater on the other side, and you needed to experience all that shiz so that you could become an authority. Are you hearing this? So maybe take some notes as you hear things and allow yourself to know that whatever resonates will just click in. You'll know it when you hear it. So I discovered in 2017, when I won a trip to the Bahamas, when I spent time in the USA and returned to the online space, that was going to be one of the toughest years of my life. I went from multiple six figures. So instead of rags to riches, I went from riches to rags. In Christmas 2017, later that year, I didn't even have enough money to put ham on the table. In fact, there's a big ham story, and I'm not going to go into it now because it's around my blended family. It's around the fact that we had the biggest falling out on Christmas Eve over a leg of ham. That's right. Maybe you'll get that story in another podcast. But right here and now, I just want to really drive home the point that I probably had my last $5 in my bank account and I was in total suffering. So as I went through and I found the money. In fact, I want to tell you that one of the first breakthroughs I had in learning inside the online space came when I didn't have any money. That's right. I had to come up with $6,000, but I did not have $5 in my bank account, but I made it work. See, you can make anything work when you put your mind to it, and sometimes you've got to be creative. So here was what I did. One of my own clients backed me. That's right. One of my own clients actually put forward the money, and I worked with them and we shared that portfolio and that program. Do you hear what I'm saying, you guys? So I was able to creatively make that $6,000 show up. And yes, I definitely grew. That was probably one of the first and one of the best programs that I did in the online space. And it was probably one of the most reasonably priced. So just moving on from that, I want to fast forward to today. And I can honestly say that my husband manifesting the miracle money in the essence of hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Even myself manifesting 50,000 in clients in 1 week. That is 1 week, 50,000 K. It gives you a little bit of an illustration of how things can turn around. And if they can turn around from me, they can turn around for you. So now as we move to the next chapter, I want to now just express that when I'm helping people to build their empire, I am saying to them, when you come into my container, this is what's going to happen. You are going to have a transformation beyond anything that you can possibly imagine. This is where the stars, the planets, and everything's going to line up for you. You are going to go back and you're going to ditch all of those walls of Jericho that are blocking and stopping you from your success. You're going to learn to be able to come out and really move into doing what you are called to do. But you need to know what your conviction is. And this podcast and my container is definitely for those who want a multi-dimensional lifestyle where you become the icon. That means that you don't go to bed at night as one person and wake up the next day and put your office hat on and walk in and become another. That just is a big calling for imposter syndrome. You are who you are as a result of who you've become, and you do this in your social life, in your work life, in your everyday life. You do it when you are by yourself cooking. Are you hearing me? Yeah, that's right. So now as you begin to understand that this multi-dimensional iconic self is as a result of, let's now go back to the beginning of when you first came into my container. Let's pretend you have jumped forward a year into the future and you've created your empire. Your empire is from the ground up filled with services. But the fact is that you have been able to understand your zone of genius, because what you've done is you've been so authentic in your service that you have allowed the true you to come out, because that is your secret sauce, that blueprint where there's only one you. We track people to their most traumatic point in their life, and we build their rock solid foundation based upon their challenge, their trauma, because the trauma of your story can then turn around and become your greatest crown of glory. So let's just take a deep breath so we can just, allow ourselves to take that first part in. So yes, we will build your empire. However, we in the very beginning had to awaken your iconic superpower. And we did that through your greatest challenges. So that's where we do a lot of transformation. So when you're in my container, you are going through a coaching system that activates your highest potential to allow you to live a life of billion-dollar energy, health, wealth, success, and freedom. I want you just to picture that. I want you to picture yourself standing on a mountain. I want you to picture yourself with your arms up in the air. And now I want you to picture yourself taking in the world, because you have activated your keys to life. So take a deep breath in and hold your arms up as you're listening, and breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. That's right. So as we allow you to build your programs, instead of trying to struggle putting everything together, we're going to go piece by piece, brick by brick, helping to make this stick. And rather than you going out there and telling everybody you're a generalized empowerment coach or a spiritual healer, you're going to be able to become so much more detailed. You are going to become so much more able to express who you are to your avatar, right? So imagine me, for example, saying to you, I am going to help you build your empire. When you come into this container, you're going to have the support of a mastermind team so you can become the CEO. You're going to go through transformation. I understand that there are so many coaches, healers, and leaders out there in the online space, but I also understand there's only one you. And because that is one of the biggest struggles, even if you don't realize it, if you're not attracting your dream client at least every week, you have a block and you need to know how to shift it. And one of the biggest shifts that you're going to discover is that you require to be transparent. You require to heal your broken wounds from your own trauma the element of you growing up, maybe feeling like the black sheep, feeling fundamentally flawed, feeling like there was something wrong with you, having a low self-worth where you actually are putting other people first and then feeling like you're being used and abused and unappreciated. And I can tell you, as a result of so much of my trauma and not feeling supported, even if I were, I didn't feel it. I made a decision at a very, very critical point of my life that every single person on this planet deserves to feel and be important. I also discovered that when something profound happens in a person's life and they shift and release and heal their past, guess what? I discovered that they rise up and they're able to tap into their zone of genius. Is this making sense to you guys? I'm speaking to you, right? So the fact is that because they discovered that there was a moment in time, just like me, where I said, I am not going to take this anymore. Fuck this shit. Yeah, exactly. And because I totally put my arms up and I said, no more, I'm out of here. I made a stand. That's my conviction. You will not move past me. I can fight you in a dark alleyway, even if you're 10 feet bigger than me. And I'm a tiny little 158 centimeter woman, right? That doesn't weigh much more than 55 kilos. So I would be able to put up the biggest fight if you crossed my conviction. And that's what I want to bring out in you, because when you know your conviction so much and you can speak it out, that's when the planets are going to line up. That's when the birds are going to sing. That is when your feet are going to feel that beautiful ground and you're going to feel amazing. So now let's just have a break, and I'm going to now give you just a little bit of time to get ready for the transmission that I am sharing with you from Voxer. But I want to tell you that the container that we have called the Royalty Elite Crown, I've had business people from all walks of life. I've had people coming in here, they have found their genius zone. They have found their level of conviction. They have dusted their feet of that old paradigm, and they have learned how to brand their brilliance. And the beauty of coming into my container is that I offer people the resources at the very bottom line price, but I also give you an exceptional value that I know is worth 30,000K for a quarter of that. And we do that for you. If you go to our highest caliber, where you're in my space with my team for 12 months, we will brand your brilliance. We will help you become the precision and the crystal clear clarity of channeling your message and channeling your dream clients. We will build your empire with you through world-class modalities. And everything will be done step by step, brick by brick, to help it stick. We will give you the technology support. We will allow you to really map out your empire. And so that once you've built your empire, it's all automation. That's right, you guys. So imagine coming into the container and receiving real-time coaching, practically Monday to Friday, every day of the year through the week. Imagine being able to have a go-to where you've got a question about your business, about your energy, and I give you a shift. Now imagine elevating your business through a multi-dimensional way and bringing it into this beautiful, powerful, smooth encounter of your entire life, expanded with your health, wealth, success, and freedom. So you walk your walk, you talk your talk. And you'll be able to leave behind all of the overwhelm, all of the fear. We even give you scripts so that you've got a process for yourself, your loved ones, or if you happen to be a coach, healer, and leader for your community. That's world class. These scripts will go from billion-dollar energy to helping people get their body, because your body is your temple, right? Right through to getting your mind crystal clear and being able to really rewire your nervous system so your old story can be transmuted into your glory. But yes, it's going to have to take a quantum leap. And this is not just things you can look at on the internet and get information. I understand that there is so much information out there. This is experiential phenomena. This is where you are going to have the method, the process, and the energy to quantum leap and become your iconic superpower. So as you can begin to get ready to listen into the transmission and then go into the meditation, I want you to revolutionize yourself with some food for the soul. I want you to turn your dreams into real life. I want you to imagine that you're going to go to the movies and you are going to watch on the big screen and listen to your new life. Maybe you're living a luxurious life by the water, by the sea, living your dream lifestyle, helping people from that space of expansive, exquisite energy. We are going to support you in the entire year and give you real-time coaching and activate your success. But we're also going to give you the strategy of the funnel, of your template that is going to kickstart your program so you can automate it, so you can generate it, and so you can facilitate it. And this is going to help you shine through your zone of genius. We're going to help you show up with that stellar confidence. And I want you to imagine right now, so we can get you prepared for the meditation. What does that look like? What do you look like when you are in your super iconic power and you are completely harnessed with this certainty? And you know, one of the biggest reasons that so many people can activate their voice and go out there when they're in my container is because they have certainty. It's not because of confidence. It's because they suddenly know what they're doing. They suddenly have complete control and mastery. They suddenly own their life. They own their problems. They own their power, and they are the real deal as they go out there and attract people that are praying for your service. So, you know, not only is this going to really help you set up your full back end, we've even got you covered with your website, your automation, and we'll meet you exactly where you're at. And we have 2 elements to this where you can fly first class and totally have everything in this package, including done for you. Or You may be the kind of person that wants to fly economy and actually learn how to do it yourself. We will give you the step-by-step process. You will experience that transformational shift. You will have everything you require, but you'll have a little bit more of the ability of putting your hands on your steering wheel yourself. And for a few $1,000s, guys, this is going to change your life. So I want you now to get ready to move in to listening to a transmission just to hear. This is like a 10-minute transmission that I brought to my group after hearing some of the issues they were having, some of the struggles with not being able to reach their clients, some of the struggles with wondering how they're going to design their next service, what to do. Well, you're going to hear the kind of transmission that I give, and this is going to be something that when you experience it, you're going to receive massive results at lightning speed. So I want you now to take a big leap of faith. I want you to get ready to bring up that screen. And if it's jet setting first class to your favorite places in the world and being able to help people from wherever you are and be paid for it handsomely, to whether you are simply on the beach or in the middle of a rainforest, soaking up your favorite environment, and yet utilizing what brings your soul to life to create your epic success. This is what we are about: your health, your wealth, your success, happiness, and freedom, and making that a reality. So if you're ready to come into the Royalty Elite Crown, I want you to stay to the very end, listen to the meditation, and I'm going to then give you the ability to know exactly what the price points are for you to be able to be here with me. Now, maybe even you would like to just get your messaging on track. You would like to get your story so that you can really call in your avatar. And you would like to be represented right here on this podcast. Well, if that's you, you can actually come into my space and have 4 to 6 weeks of complete grooming to get your story, your program, and your iconic superpower on point. And I will personally represent you on this podcast. But I need to make sure that we align first. So you can go to my bio on social media, or you can go over to my website, terrymessenger.com. But I want you now to stand by, and I want you to enjoy this next transmission. And when we come back, I'm going to give you the book of your life for the next year ahead to expand into the greatest year. And if you are listening to this midway through the year, your greatest day starts right now. So sit back, relax, get yourself a glass of water, hydrate yourself, enjoy the transmission over the next 10 minutes, and I will be back for the next meditation.